He's like, if you want to go to, if you want to go to New York or Chicago, or you go to Michigan. Absolutely. I'll open up something. But if you want to hang in,
Go have it.
you know, in West Michigan, you gotta wait. Yeah, if you don't have an interest.
Thank you.
Are you going to
No. Might go up north for a day and go to Muskegon.
Yeah, I gotta get my parents.
I don't know any places.
I got an Alex scholarship. University of Michigan club.
But that's okay.
Okay. Something else. I got, and back then, I think school was like $8,000 for tuition and board and everything. And with the scholarships and the money I made in the summer, I could pay for it.
All right. If everybody could rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bob, could you do the roll call, please?
Jim here, Highbauer,
Here.
Fine. Dean, Palmer.
Here.
Jahan.
Here.
Buck.
Here. Please note, as a courtesy to the members of the audience and the Board of Education, please silence your cell phone. Public will only be able to speak during the public comment if signed up. Can I have a motion for the agenda?
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Excellent. And we are on to reports discussion and 2A East Elementary.
Yes, so very happy to have Anna Aleman Putnam here, and she is going to do a report for East Elementary.
I don't know if it's a report per se, but you will enjoy it. So first of all, thank you to the board. I know it hasn't been easy the last 4 years. Always looking out for the children and the staff. So thank you so much. So this year we have a music teacher at East Elementary. Her name is Carter Goldstein. And what we thought, I would have loved to have brought the children in and have them share some of their talent with the new instruments that were purchased. But instead, what we decided to do is to do a video. So she created this video to share with the board. Mrs. Walker's is second grade.
Oh,
The little blonde boy in the front, it was his birthday today, so he brought donuts. William.
how nice of her.
Rehearsals for our first and second grade winter concert. We would especially like to highlight the instruments that you're about to see our first and second graders play. As a result of the community passing proposal 1 in 2019, each elementary school in Grandville has been supplied with a full set of bark instruments and a set of choral drums. Next, you'll see Miss Walker's second grade class performing a few selections from our winter concert. We had so much fun learning our music and performing. We hope that you enjoy watching. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our East Elementary musicians perform. We hope to see you soon and you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you again.
So when I told them they're presenting to the board, they said to make sure to tell you to come by anytime and you can play a song. So you're welcome at any point. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we know who to thank for the snow today, right? Thank you.
All right, excellent. The Dog Den Quarterly Report.
Okay, sweet. Go right ahead then.
All right, so start off with our sales. This quarter, we grossed about $3,100 and netted $18,240.
Just like to note also, Saturday, December 4th, our most recent Saturday, we sold $3,100 because we were there all day because of the robotics competition.
Excellent.
And that's just a graph of our overall sales.
It is actually quite nice having the accessibility to have this graph used from Square, which is it's actually changing its name to Block. But we got this right from the app that we use on our iPads when we make a transaction. All the information is inputted into this, and it's categorized into what we get, and this is how we're getting all of our numbers, and we're able to see the trends based on the time. Obviously, news are learning time. If people are on their lunch break, it is.
Some of our best-selling items are the Champion Ultimate Stadium Coat, which we got in last year, and we sold a lot of those. Then we have the Bulldog Head Decal, which we had a ton of them, and then we sold them all to the Rocket football program for their helmets. And we have the Champion Maroon Scout Jacket. It's the jacket with the Grandville on the right. It's very classic. And then the Holloway Maroon White sweatshirt. Unfortunately, we have been affected by the supply chain. We have lots of people come in looking for stuff, but we haven't gotten new stuff in a really long time. I believe we ordered hats back in May or June, and we still have not gotten them.
Also in association with the school store, our DECA program, a lot of things that we learned from the school store are overlapped with DECA. We're going to be talking about some of the qualities that we learned from that as well later on. So this year in our DECA program, a lot of the kids are also in the school store class and the merchandising class that are in our DECA program. We have 74 this year, 30 are returning. Most of them have graduated. It tends to be a higher upperclassmen group. That's just because we're trying to advertise in the other groups as well, and because it was requiring business classes to join it initially. Our biggest struggle right now is we're trying to raise funds. And we're trying to do that for our membership fees, registration, and transportation costs. Because unfortunately, this program does not come without costs. For our district conference, which is at Ferris State University this year, it's going to cost us about $5,400, give or take. We'll be trying to raise this money to local businesses who have created a partnership with us as well. And like I said before, we have membership fees, registration, and the buses. Then we have our state conference for qualifying members, which is in downtown Detroit. We're there for a weekend. It's a great time. Last time we were able to go was 2 years ago. We didn't have a conference last year because COVID. We did, but it was virtual, not the exact same thing where you're going and shaking the judge's hand and then making that presentation. And then our International Career Development Conference this year is in Atlanta, Georgia. We're still waiting for the price determination on that because it's also depending on the amount of students that qualify, and we'll also figure out flights, hotels, and all that jazz when it comes time to April.
Just to add that we had 43 members last year, and all 43 qualified for state. Just for a rough number of how many.
Not only because they learn those skill sets themselves from their experience in business classes or other classes they take, maybe like economics, but also from teachers, and then us as a board, we take the time out and then we invest that time into the students in order to get them the stuff they need to know. Also, we have our school-based enterprise, which is a paper on the school store. It's a 30-page paper this year. It has been completed already. It was a great accomplishment with me and Santana as well as Drew. We also have our Thrive Community Service events, which also allows some students to get down to the International Career Development Conference. This included the Woodhaven Church Summerfest, Metro Cruise, Grandville Fall Fest, and the Ambucks Diamond Diamonds event, which you'll see a picture of in a moment. We also have the stock market game, which Joe will talk about in a minute. That ends in just a couple days, December 10th. And they're currently 4th place in the central region, which includes about 10 states. Huge accomplishment out of 776 teams. And they're currently 47th place in the nation out of 4,700 teams. Just the other day, there was over 5,000 teams. But some of them had to drop out because they had to invest in certain stocks and portfolios, but some of them dropped out because they either didn't invest or they saw that they were too low on the ladder and then they just decided to drop out. These guys are 47th. It's just him and Jackson Gibney. So they're doing great for that in 4 days. Just to know, I believe it's top 25 in the region. I believe top 25 in the region, they automatically qualify to go down to the international conference.
Oh, nice.
And with only 4 days, they're 4th place. So take a look at that. That is Malia, Mrs. Burrell, Taylor Griffiths, Jackson Gibney, Jake McKinney, Emmanuel Alcantara, and Alex Clark at the Ambucks Diamond Diamonds event. This is a dinner where they went, they helped out, and we got some fundraising as well. Also, a little bit to add on about school-based enterprise. We're working on our 4th year of gold recertification. As you see in the corner, we have 3 gold recertifications. This is based on the paper that we've written. And we submit this, and it essentially is including all the aspects that we've had within the school store. We talk about inventory, we talk about the accounting, we talk about our sales, we talk about the lessons that we learned within the school store and the merchandising class. For many students within the school-based enterprise and the school store, it provides their first bit of work experience. They aren't working in high school because of their academics, but for others who may have had a job already, it provides them another opportunity to build management, supervision, leadership skills, and also things like marketing and finance. Just to touch again on Thrive chapter campaigns. This is where we go out in the community, and we just promote what we do, as well as just build that relationship between community and the school. So this included our Chamber of Commerce meeting with the Grandville Jenison Chamber of Commerce. As students, we were able to connect and network with people that were already in the business field. And not only did we reach out, and I got some business cards personally, which I could use in the future, but we also got to learn some lessons and some advice for post-high school. We also had a new hire sale, Diamond Diamonds, like I said before, Grandville Fall Fest. We've also written letters to Congress, and we also have our DECA wall, which is posted in front of Mr. Schwann's class in high school.
As Braden just said, guys, just a little bit, but I'm Joe Breckett. I'm a team member with Jackson Gibney on the stock market team. We've been training for about 2 to 3 months. I thought it would be interesting to kind of share this portfolio analysis with the board, as I feel that the stock market game and the tools it provides for our DECA members really benefits them in terms of their financial education. As Braden touched on, we are doing pretty well in the competition. I believe Ms. Burrell said this was the first time any Grandville team will be heading to ICDC. I just want to touch on quick what we do. So essentially, I'm a trader personally. My strategies involve finding overvalued stocks and shorting them. Usually this will be, I'm not sure if anyone's heard the phrase, buy the hype, sell the news. That's essentially what we do in our trading strategy. It's a little more complex than that, but that's the essentials. Me and Jackson have been trading for about 2 to 3 months, and essentially we have just been finding these extremely overvalued stocks and striking, getting short, which is essentially, for those who don't know, our investors themselves. But basically, going short against a stock is betting against it. So you're betting against another team in football, something like that. You're essentially wanting the stock to decrease in price because it's overvalued. We currently hold about 47,000 long stocks. I have gold as a hedge. So I use gold as a hedge basically just in case there would be a severe market pullback that would protect my portfolio. I also long a stock SPSE, I believe that SPC, that a huge upside potential in terms of gains they have. It's the Virgin Galactic company. They send people to one straight away and see what Jeff Bezos launched, a company similar to that. And our value of shorts, what that essentially means is parentheses means is it's a negative number. That number I believe was 40 or 50,000. You want in a trading circumstance, when the value of the shorts decrease, that means your portfolio increases in value. So we made about 40 to 41,000. I think as of today, that number is a little old as it takes a day to update on the actual stock market index. I think we're up to about 41 to maybe $42,000 in total profit in 2 months, 2.5 months span. And then next slide here, I've got my. Oh, sorry.
Slow down. I want to get your name.
So I have a, sorry, little, I know it's a little simple chart analysis here, but it's not as in-depth like I usually go. But what we have here is essentially this bar here is the fib retracement. I use that to base my support and resistance levels and where I take a trade. Now, this stock is my personal favorite to short. It's called Bingo Ventures, or BDIG is the ticker symbol. Essentially, what I did here is we narrowed this down to being extremely overvalued. As you can see, price shot up rapidly due to a news outbreak. I believe it was a merger, but it didn't actually go through. So as price declined, you see if that bottom of that red box there, that's essentially where we started thinking of going short. So that bottom of that top fib retracement level there, and we started entering our position on 9/13, so it'll be September 13. I know it's a little blurry in the bottom there, but you can see kind of those little intervals there. So we entered first short 9/13, I believe 2,500 shares, and then price decreased pretty severely. I didn't cover my position until, actually we're still short this stock, and I'm probably gonna cover it in about 2-3 days. But we also took, as you see, the price kind of came back up after that dip in a little, and I took another short position there, and we're riding that down now. So basically, we've gone short at 959, and we are currently at about 255 share price, almost 3 times return.
Nice.
So thank you. And then I total profit on this trade floating is about $22,000. So
You found a nugget. You found a nugget.
DECA, personally for me, I have grown as a person quite a bit from it. It has really opened up many doors for me, and for any parents in here, if students are young enough, I would join next year. It is a great opportunity. Not only is it going to make you a better public speaker, it's also going to allow you to network with people, but I think it actually just makes you a better person in general. The things you'll learn, when I went to the States 2 years ago, as Brandon mentioned, it was actually eye-opening. You see almost how the real world works, but from a high school form, if that makes any sense. It's essentially adult political and business transactions, but in a high school form. I think it's extremely eye-opening and really just a great experience. We've got about 225,000 students worldwide, and we're growing. So please stay on the lookout for us.
Yeah, so just a couple of skill sets too that you adapt from this. You have the adaptability side of it, and the creativity as well. If you haven't experienced a moment or a student, if you haven't heard about what DECA really is and what we do, essentially you're just given a piece of paper and it has a business problem, whatever area of business it is. You have 10 minutes or so, and you have to come up with a solution for it. You have only 10 minutes, and you're not given the information beforehand. And you have to go in, and with the things that you already know, walk into that room and present to a judge what your solution would be for that. And so that's the creativity side of it, also with innovation and the public speaking side of it.
It is really helpful because a lot of high school students, if they haven't like gotten a job yet, your first thing out of high school or college is a job interview, and it really helps preparing for that and just public speaking and talking to an adult on a professional level.
Yeah, and that's exactly the association that we have at the school store as well, is that it could be the first professional setting that they get in, and then DECA is just that next step as well. These are our seniors that are in DECA this year. This is when we went to Davenport for the Shark Tank. Not to brag or anything, but my team won. And my team, out of 6 people, we won a $2,500 scholarship. Just, what was it? It said, come up with something that will make the holidays easier for something. So my group developed an app that made it easier to narrow down the gift choices. So these are our seniors. Got a pretty big number of them. And like I said, it's like when you have 30 people returning and you have a big drop off from the year before, it's just because we have a ton of seniors graduating. That's why we're so out to push for new numbers. And this is our entire chapter this year, minus a couple people who maybe had like a soccer practice or something. This is one of our meetings. They're all throwing up the DECA diamond. And yeah, that's all we have. So thank you guys for your time.
Excellent.
Nice job. Thank you very much.
All right, 2C, property discussion.
We should probably just skip that. I don't know how you top those two. quite honestly. Now we're gonna give them a little bit of property here, right? Right, Heather? Yeah.
So we were approached to sell a 0.04 piece of property that we own, and just to give you an idea of where we're talking, this is South Elementary, so here's Navajo, coming through, and as you come down here, some of you are familiar with the path that comes through here. And it connects to this neighborhood over here. This where you see the orange line going through that box is actually owned by the city of Grandville. And then if you continue down to 40th, the path comes down through here, and I'm apologize for that orange line, but it's another 0.04 piece of property that we own over here. So we would not lose our connection to 40th, but the individual that approached us owns this piece of property here, and this is their home. So they're, looking to approach the two, and we'd just like you to have discussion tonight. We don't have a purchase agreement. We're looking at anywhere from what we believe would be around 7,000 to 10,000. If we were wanting to go that route and sell that piece of property.
So it's just that blue area there?
Yeah,
So
it's
we're
a
talking-
Yeah.
that's
very
it.
tiny rectangle there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the purpose of us owning that small sliver?
Well, I think at the time it was provided 2 access points from there. But then when this area was developed over here,
Yeah.
so that path, the idea of that path connecting to that development,
Yeah.
it goes right through there. And there's some electrical over there for the
Right.
city.
Yep. And then that piece down there at the bottom, we do not own that large, just to the right of that.
This
This-
is not our.
That is not
property,
ours. Okay.
No, it's owned by the people.
The
who
people
own
that
this
own. Okay.
Where's
Yep.
the path for the little league? Is
That's
that
the one she's talking
orange?
about. Yeah.
That's the
orange one.
orange.
Yeah, this is the,
Okay.
so here's the.
Is that good? Okay.
Let's scroll up a little bit,
Yep.
sorry.
Heather, can you provide some background as to other adjoining properties, encroachment, pseudo agreements that they thought we had, and then pullbacks where we tried to enforce our lot lines in the past? Can you provide any details on that?
Down in this area.
Anywhere on our property line? So,
Not that I'm
You guys might be
familiar
able to-
with, but that's easy.
so we've had issues since I've been on the board. And it kind of came to a bubble, I think, about 10 years ago, between 9 and 10 years ago, I think. But over the years, people that have had their property lines touch ours like to assume they might want to gain another 10 to 30 feet. And we have enforced that over the years. They have attempted, and it's never friendly. I mean, it's never a fun thing, let's put it that way. But we've always told them no. So in this situation, since we keep telling people no, my perspective is, why would we allow it to happen now? Because will we not create some neighborhood issue or disgruntled people that also wonder why now? Why weren't their options considered when they asked us to purchase additional land?
Yeah, and I would have to go back to, if you're talking 10 years, I wasn't part or privy of that, so I would need to go back and.
I know Deb had to be the hitman on that one.
Didn't Ron Kniff also make a trip out there? There was something about someone's fence.
There was multiple
Yeah.
properties. Some had
Yeah.
just, they would plant trees or
Century
shrubbery,
Park area.
and some,
There's another one there.
well, the
too,
Century
that-
Park is where we allowed like the grapevine, remember the
Yeah.
grapevine situation?
Yep.
But here,
Trees.
we've had, people we actually put in a fence.
Uh-huh.
That's where Ron had to go
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
So from my perspective is there's I guess it's our land. We bought it. I think it could create problems if we considered the option to sell it. I understand the piece and the location that it's on. But who's to say we may not do something in the future with that land? So I'd rather not set a precedent. The other thing, and I mentioned this to Roger before the meeting, is situations like this are not well documented, right? You don't know about it. Raj doesn't know about it. And I think when we have these discussions, you need to have some kind of a document or an archival process, some simple spreadsheet that has a summary of what the discussions were so that you understand the historical precedent that previous boards had set. It not only, the number one thing is it helps current boards understand the situations better so that they can make a more strong decision.
Sounds like a great goal for a superintendent in the future, that he or she could leave for someone else as a legacy thing, huh?
But hoping that goal, the spreadsheet's already started, it just doesn't include the
That,
discussion pieces. I mean,
I think-
we do have documentation
Yeah.
of all of our properties.
yeah, we have.
I'm not saying
documentation.
that. I'm saying
I know, but adding in the discussion.
the
pieces
encroachment
to that
pieces.
spreadsheet.
Do we know how wide that blue strip is? Is it wide that you could put a drive in there someday?
Uh,
Or is it like 4 foot wide?
It's, yeah, I
Or
can
do-
get that for you, I don't have it right now, but I can.
I was just curious if you, I mean, someday that you wanted to develop.
Well, so that becomes a great question, right? Is there intention to develop that other piece that are partial? Is that what's going on? Because it doesn't make any sense to attach it to the piece of property to the left. It's they're attaching it to the piece of property to the right. So is there intention to develop that? And is that something we should be having discussion on there? Are we interested in that piece?
Do you know what they want to use that for?
Yeah,
Looks like a lot of
I think they-
trees there.
I think they might
Or
have
wetlands.
a garage in there, potentially, or a shed. No, I do not know.
Right? Come on. Let's put this real.
Well, since I'm on the blue.
This,
Hey, they aren't making any more land.
Oh, my God.
yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of little league games in that corner there, but is that like, it's not wetlands or something, is it? Like it's,
To the right is, right? Is to the right wetlands or not? Where that path goes through or not? I don't think that where your cursor is, I don't think is, but I thought to the right was.
No.
No, it's not.
It's
Okay.
No.
wooded, I
So,
think.
There's no water
all right.
Okay.
The ones are across the street, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So Bob, you're saying that the people who live on that yellow line or orange, we had told them they couldn't have certain land. And
there. Here's
now-
where I believe it was.
Okay.
I believe the issue occurred on these 3 pieces of property.
Okay. Okay. Up there, okay.
There could have been other, but these were the
Yes.
3 because they were the farthest from the school and the way the trees go and the land.
Right, definitely, okay. It was trying to.
But you remember,
I
The
do,
issue
I
that we
remember,
had.
Yeah,
and at some point, someone in administration may have told them they could do it, but no one ever had any formal documentation on it. So that's why Ron had to get involved.
yes,
Talk to them.
yeah.
And for the audience, Ron Kniff was our superintendent prior to Roger.
So is the recommendation from you, Roger, to sell it or?
No,
Okay.
that's why we have it for discussion. Some,
Okay.
you know, a community member brought it to our
Yeah.
attention. We brought it here for some discussion and we figured, you know, we have some people that have been on this board for a while, that if there were any historical things, might know a little more about that. Plus the fact that we, you know, it is a very small strip of land. And if it were, if we were talking this, we would have said no right away. But when it's that small and you already have a couple entry access areas, exit access areas, we thought it was at least worth discussing.
I don't know when this shot was taken.
Yeah.
And I can suppose many things. That looks like a fire pit to me. Just saying.
Well,
I know that happens because I was told today,
Is that our property above that there?
Yeah. oh, yeah.
that's all ours.
That's all, okay, up to that yellow.
Well, even-
Yeah.
where those that sign was, that looks like-
That is our fire pit. Somebody bring the marshmallows. So the other thing that I was made aware of today, Raj, was 8th and Loose.
Yeah.
there's stuff on our land out there that may be big and metal.
Should we call Ron to go with you?
No. Okay. Well, I think we have the information we need for right now, unless I hear somebody really eager to sell that. It looks like we're not gonna consider it at this point. I do think it's good to go back in history. I know we have, we definitely have all our historical stuff on the property, but we can look and see. Did you guys talk about this at board meetings? then?
We did. It was a
Okay.
big one. Deb Reese was in Heather's shoes, and I think it was 8 or 9 years ago.
All right,
I was, yeah.
I believe Dean was on the board at the time.
okay. I'll see if I can go back and find some information just for some clarity.
Dean, how you been? I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Right, that was a good discussion. Now I gotta put my glasses on. All right, as written in the board bylaw, 0167.3, public participation at board meetings, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. To permit fair and orderly public expression, the board shall provide a period for public participation at public meetings of the board and publish rules to govern such participation in board meetings and in board committee meetings. The rules shall be administered and enforced by the presiding officer of the meeting. The presiding officer shall be guided by the rules per bylaw 0167.3. They are listed on the back of the public comment form. So, where's Scott? Do we have any more? Okay, cool. All right, so we got about maybe 6 or 7. And as a reminder, participants shall direct their comments to the board. So that is the podium right there. So you're speaking to the board. And then in addition, if we could just treat folks that are at the podium with kindness and consideration, that would be awesome. So I am going to call on our first gentleman here, Micah Perkins. And as a reminder, 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I will interrupt and just give you the reminder that you have a minute left.
Hi, my name is Mike Perkins. I'm a representative of the Michigan Building Trade. I have 2 reasons I wanted to introduce myself to you guys tonight. Hopefully you already have to say hello to. First of all, I'm relatively new in this position. About 5 months ago, I was a plumber. So if I say something profoundly ignorant, please attribute it to that. So the reason I'm here in my day job capacity is that it's probably no news to anyone here that the trades are aging out. The average age on the construction side is about 50, which is not good, especially in physically demanding trades like that. I've already spoken to a couple of you about this, but it's my goal to get in front of every school board in the area that I cover. I cover an area from roughly Manistee down the state line and a little bit west of Lansing, a little bit short. Skilled trades, more than ever before, are doing a really good option for kids coming out of high school. We want to change the perception that the trades are a fallback position for people who can't make it to college. One of the very smart people that I've ever worked with worked in the trades. There's a bit of background about myself. I actually have a teaching license. I'm probably the only plumber who is able to say that. Because when I graduated from Grandville in 2002, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach history. The boomers did not retire on that. So I had to change plans, and long story short, here I'm glad I made that transition. I truly enjoyed my teaching education and the experience I had in that time. But the skilled trades has given me so many different opportunities that I was completely unaware of. I grew up in a family that was not a trades family. I just happened into this by accident, more or less. And that's a problem that we're having more and more in our community, because most of our plumbers and HVAC techs and all those other people are coming out of our tech center. Most of our shop classes are gone. You're fortunate to have a shop here in Grandville. And so if you don't have family member in the trade, someone you know, you're probably not gonna get that ancillary connection that you get when you have a shop class in the high school. So we're here trying to broaden our base. That's my day job. The reason I'm here, and this is also related to my day job. I just wanted to thank the board and staff of the school for supporting us, the community here, and protecting them from bullying. That is a matter personally close to my heart. I have a big sister, and she's experienced a lot of that kind of thing growing up. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing the right thing and protecting the rights of the people who are vulnerable.
Thank you, Micah. All right, next, Carol P.
Hi, Carol from Grandville Township, and I know everybody knows what's going on with CRT and all the masks and vaccines and all that stuff, and I'm not gonna talk about it a lot. I just, I believe that it's a fight of good versus evil, and I think there's a lot of issues in our country and around the world that need more than just the power from the people, but power from God. And for that reason, I just wanna say a prayer for our country and people here tonight. Lord, we come to you tonight with a prayer of thanksgiving. We are thankful for our founding fathers who chose to build this nation on your word, and for the freedom and protection you bestowed upon us. We thank you for the many blessings you have given us. Blessings such as an abundance of food and ability to earn a living the way we choose, gas and electric to keep us warm in the winter and cool in the summer, a roof over our heads, and doctors to heal us when we're sick. We are truly a nation of blessings from God. But Lord, we also acknowledge that we have taken your blessings for granted, and we have turned our backs on you. Instead of continuing to include you in our lives, we have gone astray. Prayer has been removed from schools only to be replaced with pornography. Our nation of unity has become a nation of division. Over the past 2 years, we have turned to hatred of one another rather than love. Lord, we ask that you change our hearts. We ask for guidance and direction from you to help us treat others with love and respect. We also ask that you lead the school boards, teachers unions, and principals to do the morally right thing for our children. Convict their hearts and direct their paths to do what's right and good. Lord, it is obvious that we are in a fight of good versus evil. Riots in the streets are being encouraged. Stealing has been accepted in some parts of our country. Illegal immigrants are being brought in against the law, and law and order being thrown out the window. This can only be the work of an evil agenda led by ungodly men. We ask that you stop the evil that is overtaking our country. We ask you to put obstacles and confusion in the way of people in power who want to destroy our lands. We also ask that these powerful workers of wickedness be removed, and that they be replaced with people who stand for your righteous cause. And lastly, we ask you to open the eyes of people everywhere. Reveal the truth to them and expose the evil that is happening here and around the world. Give us all courage, strength, and your wisdom to fight for our God-given freedom. And give us a heart of thanksgiving for the beautiful country you have graciously blessed us with. Thank you, Lord, for hearing our prayer tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, Janine Jansma.
My name is Janine Jansma, and my address is on file. So last week, the Kent County Democrats sent out a memo soliciting attendance at tonight's meeting. Ottawa County Dems also joined the effort. Apparently, they felt that this elected board needed protection from the, and I quote, group of unhinged attackers, referring apparently to the parents of the Grandville district students. They also said, quote, "We are prepared to stand up to these bullies. Will you join us?" Let me give you Webster's definition of unhinged: to be highly disturbed, unstable, deranged, unbalanced. In the months I have been coming to these meetings, I have not witnessed any display of these characteristics by those who have spoken to the board members. What I have seen and heard have been the passionate and educated commentary of parents. Oh. Care for and are concerned for their children's well-being. So perhaps the real unhinged bullies in this instance are the ones who responded to the call for mob rule at this board meeting tonight. In an attempt apparently to intimidate into silence those that have shared a different point of view. Those tactics will no longer work. Our world is awakening. The rule of law shall be restored. Respect for differences in all their many forms will replace the force and coercion used by those who are intolerant when they don't get their way. The insanity of medical tyranny will give way to the honoring of the sovereign to choose for themselves what treatment or non-treatment is for them. No more propaganda that shields the truth with deceit. No more lying, cheating, stealing, and destroying our God-given rights of decency and freedom. The decline of morality in the doctrines, programs, and procedures within the public school systems is of genuine concern to many. Emphasizing sex, sexual orientation, same-sex bathrooms, obsessing on pronouns, and supplying sexually explicit materials in school libraries is inappropriate. Focusing on academics is the role of public schools. Encouraging music, art, drama, and sports to enrich a child's life experience is the domain of education. Let children be children, not subjects of indoctrination. Humanity is at a crossroads. We are in a spiritual battle between the dark and the light. The dark imprisons and the light frees. For all the issues and distractions that show up daily, there is in truth only one thing going on. We are either choosing to align with an oppressive government and human tyranny, or we are choosing our alliance and allegiance to God. May we choose wisely.
Counselor Jansma.
I stole my first part of my speech. She kind of covered all that. So I'm part of preferred pronouns. Like the English language. Pronouns mean more than feelings. It's not that us, parent, our group, we're not attacking the LGBT community. Heterosexual sexuality can stay out of our schools as well. Like, period. Like, it's getting ridiculous. Kind of getting to be like a broken record coming up here talking to you guys. The minute we're done talking, you guys go on right to, little Jimmy and lacrosse. And you never address us. You've never said anything remotely to any of our concerns at any board meeting, maybe in a private conversation, but when you guys call for old news, isn't that from the board meeting before? I could be wrong, but maybe, like, acknowledging that we come here time and time and time again, and we'll be here again in 2 weeks, and rattle off the same thing. Yeah, we have a problem with division in our country right now. Big problem in the Grandville school district.
like my mom said, with the Democrats, I had sent Scott Merkel a couple of the screenshots. Spoke with him last week, and, let him be aware of what was happening. Because, I thought we were the minority, thought we were a small minority group, and now we got the Democrats calling out for everybody in Kent and Ottawa County to come on by and show solidarity for the board, and it's not that we're against you guys, we're supposed to be partners in this. So instead of staying and listening to the rest of this, we will be at 2327 Wilson Avenue, the VA Hall, until 8:30, working on our recall mission. There's 3 of you guys up there. So if anybody wants to join, that's where we'll be until 8:30. Thank you.
Brenda, Bargain Quest.
In Barbacoas, my address is on file, been a resident since 1998. According to an event on mobilize.us, according to Canada, according to Kent County and Ottawa County parties, unhinged attackers have been attacking students, staff, administration, and the Board of Education in Grandville. This is an egregious lie. No one has been attacked, least of all students. No one is unhinged. We are passionate, emotional, and angry at times. Our children are involved, for Pete's sake. We just want the board, administration, and teachers to do their job, and only their job. There is a group of intelligent, caring, patriotic, conservative, Christian, critical thinking parents that are concerned about what is happening in our schools. We are not a small minority in this community, nor in this country. Parents are standing up and making their voices heard across the country. We are a diverse group of parents, and we don't all share every single belief, but as a rule, we believe in science. We believe there's only 2 genders, and it is a fact determined by your DNA. Anything else is a fetish or a sexual preference, which has no place in school. We believe life begins at conception. How can water be proof of life on another planet, but a heartbeat on Earth is not? We believe that you will never eradicate a virus with a vaccine. Scientists know this. Scientists know how viruses behave. They mutate, they become weaker and more contagious in order to survive. Poorly developed vaccines, such as the current ones we have, also cause more mutations. The fear mongering on mainstream media is ridiculous. And I don't know what the school has done regarding their policy, but letting vaccinated who have COVID or close contact not quarantine and requiring those that aren't vaccinated to quarantine is total force puppy. Because we all know that if you are vaccinated, you can still catch and spread COVID. Actually, everybody I know currently that has it was vaccinated. A lot of good active. Also, these parents, this group of parents, we even brought in a subject matter expert to explain that masks don't work. Our children have a right to a free education, and studies show they don't learn as well with a mask on. Folks like to say we need SEL because of the kids' mental health. Well, those people also don't seem to acknowledge the role that masks play in damaging their mental health. Here is the critical difference between the 2 groups. The people calling people with conservative views divisive are the divisive ones. We want to be allowed to do what we feel is best for our children. No one is making you do anything with your children. We are not demanding, that you can't wear a mask. You can wear a box of masks if you like. We just don't want our children to be forced to wear them. We believe the school needs to stay in its lane. We send our children to school to learn math, English, and social studies. Parents are the primary teachers of morals and values, and the teachers and administration need to leave that to us. SEL is a way around a child and their family's privacy. It's a way around parent permissions. It's a way around sex ed guidelines. Parents know it, and you all know it. The people spreading hate are the MEA, the NEA, the local president of the union, along with whom I assume to be his buddy, a former band teacher. Check out social media. There sure seems to be a lot of fear of a small local minority if folks are emailing other districts and county-wide political parties. which didn't seem to really do much for them. We are a grassroots group of folks trying to do what we feel is best for our children. We parents want, deserve, and have a right to have a say in what is taught in our schools. It is in the boards, schools, districts, I don't know which one, mission statement, that they are to work with parents. All we have heard in the past 8 months of attending these meetings are placating platitudes from Mrs. Buck, and we've been called conspiracy theorists by Mr. Barrett. And those things don't fill the bill of working with parents or doing your job as it is, it says in the mission. There have been a few raucous meetings a few months back. It is also suspicious to me that Mrs. Buck tries to limit clapping at the meetings now when the meetings have been quite civil in recent months. This is completely unwarranted and will not stand as shown currently and at the last meeting. To do so is also against the law according to the Open Meeting Act. Not the behavior I would expect of the president of the Board of Education. Are our children her first priority or her power? Questions I've never had answered. I've reworded them so that they can be answered. It's been acknowledged by the administration that there are teachers outside their lane. Has it been acknowledged that someone wasn't
30
doing
seconds.
their job to allow that to happen? Has that person faced consequences for not doing their job? Has someone been tasked with getting rogue teachers back in their lane and keeping them there? And is that person the same person that let them get out of their lane? I sure hope not. Thank you, and I'm gonna go hang out with some of my supposedly unhinged friends.
Blake Mazurek.
Good evening. My name is Blake. Tonight I come to you grieving yet another school shooting. This time, our state carries the bloody banner of our nation's collective obsession with guns, violence, and soul-crushing callous action to protect the most vulnerable in our society. Last Friday, I attended the Michigan Education Association Board of Directors meeting, of which I am a member. I heard testimony from the zone director of Oxford's region regarding the unfathomable pain and suffering of the students, staff, and families of that community. Despite the proclamation of a parent in our community a month ago, these events are not false flag operations with paid crisis actors serving as victims. To this day, I am astounded at the absolute ignorance of such a statement. And yet, this completely untethered belief and similar attitudes pervade our society, from boardrooms of our schools to the highest reaches of government. We face an epidemic of intolerance, misinformation, disinformation, and outright ignorance throughout our land, which is paralyzing our ability to confront the very real challenges we face. How many more children need to die in our schools before we take meaningful action? How many more families will suffer lifelong pain and suffering, reliving the loss of family and friends from such events? How many more communities will carry the scars of school shootings for generations to come? Make no mistake, every person in Oxford, Michigan, woke up that Tuesday morning believing that it will never happen here. I'm calling on this board to pass a resolution supporting the Students' Bill of Rights for Safer Communities. This resolution stems from the 2018 Student Gun Violence Summit in Washington, D.C. It was written 100% by students from across this country, including 2 from Michigan, one of which was from Grand Rapids, who met in Washington, D.C. for a 3-day summit to address this issue. They workshopped, discussed, deliberated, and collaborated on developing these recommendations. This was a student-led initiative. Some of the measures include allocate sufficient funding for mental health programs, including but not limited to school-based safety and security initiatives, violence intervention programs, healthcare services, including counseling and mental health evaluations to be provided by trained racially and culturally diverse team of mental health professionals, reduce the stigma of mental health and illness by educating students and faculty on mental health, establishing support networks such as peer counseling, creating pathways for anonymous reporting, identification and intervention of at-risk youth based on mental health and alternative childhood experience evaluations, to promote responsible gun ownership by requiring safe storage policies and modeling gun licensing similar to driver's licensing, along with 11 other measures to take actionable steps in reducing the violence our children are enduring in our communities. I also asked the board to forcefully denounce any legislation that would arm teachers or staff in any capacity. The challenges we face in education are severe, from teacher shortages, recruitment and retention issues, sub shortages, mental health, educator mental health well-being, COVID-related stresses, and attacks on our board's administration, teachers and staff from misguided community members across our nation. These events from last week highlight the fact that we also carry the burden of life and death on our shoulders. It's long past time we stand up together and call for meaningful change. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. All right. That is all for public comment. We're on to consent action. Could I have a motion?
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So first item on the agenda is personnel action. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following personnel actions. New employments, Fotini Buck, nurse, 11/29/21. Derek Thacker, BCBA behavior coach, 1/3/2022. Lauren Hoffman, BCBA behavioral coach, 1/17/2022. Can I have a motion? Discussion?
Sure, and just for the record, BCBA stands for Board Certified Behavior Analyst, in case you were wondering about that. I figured you'd probably get asked that question. So nothing to add, John, anything?
We're just in looking at our PBIS structure, talking with Jason Blair, and the MTSS. Our BCBAs will focus, one of them on general education, one on our special education students, and designed around the science of behavior. So we're going to look at those tier 2 and tier 3 interventions, or some things that we might be able to do to help support teachers that are struggling in that way as well. We're excited to have people that are trained in the science of behavior to help us kind of move our way through some of these things.
So we're going to do a roll call vote, and I will be abstaining. You want to do a roll call?
Bauer. Yes. Han.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
All right. Next item, GHS course proposal, intro to law and public policy.
Yes, I am Ashley Bubbles.
I'm going to make the recommendation first.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, that's just older.
It is, this has got to be official. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following proposal for intro to law and public policy, a new social studies elective course at Grandville High School. This elective would teach students about public policy, the criminal justice system, and government at a deeper level than introduced in the required government course. This skills-based course would provide students the opportunity to research, create proposals, present information, collaborate with one another, and partake in healthy civil discourse through the structures of our democratic policy, law, criminal justice systems. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Now we're going to go discuss this.
All right, Ashley and Adam are here to talk about this
Let
course.
me introduce Ashley Buckles. Ashley is our AP government teacher and as well as U.S. history. U.S. history this year, also serves as our National Honor Society director and was, as you guys know, master around behind senior survivors. I just want to make sure that it's that plug as well. So she is here tonight to introduce a social studies elective course that she has proposed to our her department, the school improvement team, and our district school improvement team. And now we're here to front of you guys, and so I'll hand it over to Ashley to discuss why she came up with this proposal and what it's about.
Yeah, so your summary was really great. It's just that we have students that are interested in government and economics at a much deeper level. And they don't have a senior elective that currently serves that purpose. And so I have a lot of students that constantly ask me, like, what can I take senior year? They're really interested in going into law, they're interested in going into public policy, anything like that at college level. So this would serve as that senior elective. We currently have some social studies electives senior year, but they more focus on like topical global issues or psychology. So this would serve for that, and it would be more of a project-based course that would allow students to really dive deep into our criminal justice system and just different economic, social, and foreign policy, and allow them to really research and work together to investigate some of the issues surrounding those areas.
Can I start?
You got it.
I've been waiting. Oh my God. I'm in love with this course. So in looking at this summary syllabus that you provided, one of the things that immediately comes to mind is how do you balance the current discourse in this country within this course you're going to teach? Is that part of it?
So I would say yes, to some extent, like out of all of these different issues that we would look at, right? Predominantly, I would say with more of the public policy side, yes, like I would encourage students to look at both sides of the issue and have a discussion about the pros and cons of both sides of the issue. And so I would say that that is built into the course. It's not taking things from one side, really investigating and looking at the implications of those decisions and kind of how both sides would approach that.
Cool. That's my first question. I'm gonna let everybody else.
I'm wondering, have parents been involved? I know they're on some team, but how have parents been engaged in this?
So currently, this would just be, it's important to remember on classes for high school, they go into the class curriculum guide, and then as students schedule, they look through there, there's a description on there. So in the development phase of this, there's not that we have members on our school.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Are there parents on that?
Yeah.
School improvement team. Because I think this is going to be an issue with social policy and what you talk about in your class and what you're not allowed to say. And, you know, we'll have a whole line of people here if it's something that you say wrong. And I just want you to be aware of that. I really believe that. There's one in which I thought, oh boy, you started talking about government and you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess I'm just saying, you gotta recognize that some of the influence may not be from the kids. You know, and is it gonna cause issues with your classroom? I mean, that's one of the things I'm concerned about. I guess I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm not saying you're not able to manage, but.
And I appreciate that, Barb. I think that Ashley's, this class is not to dive deep into whether you were right or wrong. It's that project base of learning how to make sure that you look at a public policy problem or issue and see how you attack that piece. And as she just, she's gonna have to see, you inevitably have to look at different perspectives on public policy, but, you know, one of the questions that came up in our district school improvement team was similar to this, and like anything else, it would be an approval process through Ashley to make sure that there are just some hot topic issues that maybe don't have their way into the classroom at this time, and Ashley will have an approval process on that.
So I think there are some great examples. You know, we're experiencing it right now with mask mandates and vaccines, and those are policies that are influencing, you know, people's feelings and you know, actions and things. So I guess I just want to make sure that, I'm sure you are, but I'm concerned about that.
No,
So
and
I
for
want
sure.
you to be knowing that I'm concerned.
And I think that is definitely something to be aware of. I think that I kind of phrased it perfectly. This is not meant to be a hot button issues course, right? This is meant to look at broader scale foreign policy, domestic policy, social policy, very small part of the course. And any research-based topics would of course have to be approved through me. Naturally, I would try and steer away from those current hot button issues for that purpose.
And you're talking about the fundamentals of this.
Yes.
So how many other districts in Kent and or Ottawa County have this kind of a course?
Say a combination like I have created, probably not many. I know that there are several schools that have just an intro to law course. There are several schools that have more of like, I know Forest Hills Northern, actually I talked to a teacher that kind of had like a public policy similar course that was a little bit more project based, which is kind of where I got the idea to kind of merge those two.
Mhm.
I've always thought when I was doing my student teaching actually at West Ottawa, they had an intro to law course. So I just thought that they handed over with, they taught that was really cool. It was a way to really kind of meet that need for students. And so I just figured in a semester, there was a good way to kind of combine both of those things and hit both of those groups.
Is there an AP course that fits the majority of this? That they could get that, you know, that golden star?
So I am the AP government teacher. I will tell you, we go into a very surface level of all of these, but naturally we are a semester AP government class. So I will give you an example. I spend about 2 days on civil rights and civil liberties.
Got it.
Where I just don't have time to go weeks into those different topics.
So for the students that want this, and I think you're going to find a lot because it's so cool. Is there a curriculum out there for AP that fits this that you could adapt to and still have them hit it? Is there a path to AP for this or no?
AP class that fits this. There's social studies, there's AP World, AP US, Econ, Gov, and one more I'm not thinking of right now, but there's no AP Public Policy or AP Law or things like that. And that's governed by the college. So.
Yep.
So will there be one section of this?
So that's dependent on how many kids sign up for it. So typically, right, we have our scheduling, the interest happens, and then if there's 60 kids, we schedule them in. If there's 60 kids, it might be one section each semester, depending on how the master schedule shakes out. It could be 2 sections, 1 semester. So it'll be a semester course, and that's how we'll go through it. But it's based on the interest of the students.
Will there be prerequisites then for this? What are your thoughts?
So not necessarily. Ideally, I did envision this being a junior senior elective.
Yeah.
Because it would definitely help them to take government or econ first.
Yeah.
That being said, taking them concurrently is totally fine. And so just with the nature of scheduling, having more elective options, junior and senior year, I would envision that it would be those grade levels that would have to take.
What do you plan? When do you plan on offering this? Because oh, okay. My daughter is taking public policy. She's a senior, so that's why I think it'd be great for her to love her to get into this.
My son,
Try it out.
My son would love to take this second semester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So see, there you go. All right.
Us.
I
It's awesome.
think,
I think it's great.
you know, this rocks. I think it's incredible. You should feel very proud. I mean, the entire curriculum team, but you actually, you know, a lot, I took business law when I was in college, but I didn't get anything close to this piece of it because I bet you're going to get a lot of interest as to what, if juniors are perfect level for this because they could decide, do I want to get into that side of the world a little bit more? And they have that little bit more knowledge. So nice job. Really appreciate
So
what
Barbara,
you gave us.
I think the thing that's going to be interesting and is that, yes, to your points, but my hope for this is that it helps students learn how, the appropriate how,
Yeah. I did like
when it
this
comes to
public
so many of these
discourse.
discussions.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the ultimate goal, right? Is
Right.
to allow and to teach students the skills to
Yes.
be able to have a proper civil discussion from both sides, not walk away heated, not walk away upset. And understand that that is just a part of life and that's a skill that you should learn. And so what a great way to practice that skill and in a safe environment where.
Exactly.
you can control
Yep.
some of that.
Yep. So bravo.
Excellent.
Bravo.
All right, let's take a vote on this. All in favor of item 4B, the GHS course for Intro to Law and Public Policy, please signal with a yes.
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 All opposed? Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. Next item, summer 2020 Chromebooks. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 1,100 Dell Chromebooks at a price of $257,125. The purchase will also require $33,550 for Chrome management licenses and an $8,000 allowance for device cases. The total approved purchase price is $298,675. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And with us,
And
with it-
Walter.
and with us is Walter, and he'll explain where we're at with this.
So this is the annual purchase or that helps us refresh the student one-to-one devices. I'll preface it with saying we're coming to you obviously a little bit earlier than we normally do. Normally, we coincided with the spot bid, statewide resi bid that comes out. However, as with everything going on right now, supply chain, technology shortages, all that kind of thing, we really want to get this order in as soon as possible to make sure that we have devices so we can get in stock and get ready to supply students.
Excellent. Good idea.
This is normal cost, like, you see any changes or?
This is the normal cost. It is a touch higher than the devices that we purchased last year, but it is still statewide Resi price.
Okay, anybody else?
Nice job on price, Walt.
Okay.
All right, we will do a roll call vote, being it's such a large price tag.
Did you do zero?
Palmer.
Yes.
Ibar.
Yes.
DeHaan.
Yes.
Wonder Jim, yes. Buck.
Yes. All right, so Walt is going to stay up. Who has more money? It is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase of 26 Cisco Model 9300 network switches, 26 Cisco 9300 network expansion modules, 26 Cisco 1100 power supplies, necessary cabling and licensing for a total purchase of $303,498.78. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All right, Walt.
So again, this is something that we would probably have waited a little bit to bring to you, but we're bringing it up because supply chain issues. What this does is the wire network infrastructure in the district is fine. It's running, serving the district just fine. A few years ago, we did upgrade the wireless infrastructure. So all of the wireless access points that are throughout the district provide the access for student Chromebooks, and iPads. Those wireless access points can actually connect to the network with a faster connection than what we can provide our existing equipment can provide now. So a cost-effective way to provide the faster wireless access is to purchase a faster switch that goes in each network closet. There's 26 network closets from the district network. So this would put one of those faster network switches in each network closet, and that switch could then provide faster wireless access for student devices.
Are these replacing or supplementing?
These are supplements.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
What percent faster are they, like?
So right now, the wireless access points connect at a 1 gigabit speed. These switches provide a 5 gigabit speed.
Well, that's awesome.
Wow.
You need that.
So
That's
you have a need
I
for
hear from
both
teachers.
Yeah.
So like, when we're adding these switches, so we don't ever have to, I'm not saying there's never too much bandwidth, don't ever, I don't think I'll ever say that. But when it comes to these, they don't just replace something that's out of date in this process. What, I mean, kind of help me understand. I know they go to 5 in capacity and how many it's going to handle incoming. Is this like first priority when something comes in? Do these have the capability of doing that, and then it draws to the older ones?
It does have the capability of doing prioritization.
Yeah.
We aren't currently doing anything. We do, the only prioritization of network traffic we do right now is voice traffic, phone traffic always wins because you want phone calls to go through reliably. But other than that, the core network switch that sits downstairs and powers the whole network district-wide has more than enough bandwidth to provide these switches that then provide more bandwidth.
Okay. All right.
But it doesn't make sense to purchase new switches for every switch in the district right now, because, you know, a phone wouldn't take advantage of that
Got it.
additional bandwidth. Teacher laptops that are sitting on a desk, they have a 1 gigabit connection, so they would take advantage of the more bandwidth. So this is kind of a targeted upgrade of network infrastructure to provide more. Mostly students. I mean, obviously some staff utilize the wireless network with their laptops, but mostly students.
If I can just ask another question with regard to Chromebooks. So we're buying each one of these from a different supplier.
Correct.
We
We
can't,
talk about Chromebooks and network infrastructure.
and yeah, might as well took all three because we have all three right now. It's pretty much, it's probably your budget for the year. Well, at least for equipment. When it comes to what we have here, not all of them are available on Ramsey.
So they are, the Chromebooks are Ramsey
Yep.
pricing. And the Chromebook that we're recommending is the Dell 3100 that we have had good experience
Yep.
with. The other vendor recommended here is the Ramsey specified vendor.
Got
So
it.
they have
Okay.
a-
All right.
And then the network infrastructure, to get the best pricing on that, it was a mix of there's a Oakland statewide bid, and there's a
My deal.
thank you. There's another statewide bid, so it's kind of a mix of that.
Got it.
Everyone has the best price.
Nice. Okay, great.
All right, again, we're gonna take a roll call vote on this.
Highbar,
Yes.
Wonder Jim, yes. Dahan,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Buck.
Yes. All right, the trifecta. Walter is going to stand up one more time. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase of a Dell EMC hybrid storage appliance. This is a deal, $65,151.45 from Dell Technologies.
So more.
Excellent. Walt.
So what this is, I'm trying not to get too far in the technology weeds on this one. It runs approximately 144 virtualized servers that provide things like file storage, door access, security cameras, all a variety of services. We currently, in 2018, we replaced our primary storage appliance with a pure storage array. It has, instead of a spinning hard drive in it, it has memory chips, so it's very fast. However, we have some storage, for example, the high school does an AP program. They store a lot of data. It doesn't necessarily need to be accessed really fast, but it definitely needs to be stored and backed up. So we've been utilizing two older Dell storage appliances to store some of the less frequently accessed data. And those two storage appliances are between 10 and 11 years old. And so I looked at renewing the maintenance on those appliances, because like I said, they're still storing critical data for the district. And cost benefit analysis, it really just makes more sense to replace it with one newer hybrid storage appliance as opposed to trying to get maintenance on those two older appliances. So this appliance has a mix of that speedy flash storage and still the spinning hard drive older storage type. And it's actually fairly smart in how it will take data that is accessed frequently and put it on the fast storage, and data that isn't accessed as frequently, it'll put on that slower spinning disk storage. So this is kind of a cost-effective way of getting more storage server infrastructure, but being able to balance between cost and speed.
Do we have any cloud backup? So how does this tie into that?
So this doesn't necessarily, this is local storage.
Right.
So if I'm a student over in high school and I'm bringing up my video project, it's going to pull it directly off of the storage appliance as they're accessing it. We do back up nightly to Azure, Microsoft Azure Cloud Storage. It backs up, so our data gets backed up to a storage appliance that's out at Century Park because it was the furthest I could get away from the administration building. And then that appliance every night backs up to the Microsoft Azure Cloud, which backs up on the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States. So hopefully if there was some major natural disaster or something, that our data would still be accessible from one of the two coasts.
Got it.
Yes, we do back up.
Do we pay for that?
We do. It's actually fairly cost effective. The monthly bill has ranged anywhere from $40 to $60 a month.
Wow, that's, yeah.
And we go back a year, so I store a year's worth of data.
Thanks, Walt. Beautifully done.
Here to talk about mental health.
Beautifully done. As always.
All right, we're going to take a roll call vote one more time.
Jahan.
Yes.
Tybauer.
Yes.
Mulder.
Yes.
Yes, Buck.
Yes. So the next meeting will be Monday. The next meeting, the last meeting of this year, will be Monday, December 20th at 7 p.m. here at the admin building, and we stand adjourned. Thank you for coming.